Giddy up. Greetings, everyone, one and all. Thank you for coming. Sorry for the delay once again, but we are off to the races. And I'm very pleased to welcome our friend Terry from the Illinois district. He is our guest speaker today. Oh, look at that. There we go. Music.
Oh, I look so official.
I know, right? You get your whole slide there. And I'm very excited to have Terry here with us today. He's going to be joining us for the director's track at Harmony College Northeast in August 7th through 9th, right, Terry?
Correct. Yes, that is the correct date.
We have the right weekend. Okay, good. We're very excited to have you here with us this summer. And just a quick recap of some things that have been going on in the district here. Yesterday we had a high school festival up in Laconia, sponsored by the Laconia chapter. Very cool. We had district champions on air and Soundscape, ladies teaching quartet. And from what I hear, they did a bang-up job. So it's very exciting to share events like that. If you have any events in your area to share, please let me know. I'd be happy to give you a shout out. Anything going on out there? Okay, good. Before I forget,
Sunrise Division had our contest. Sunrise Division had our contest a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, terrific, cool. How'd everything go?
It went well. Our chorus placed second, which was nice.
All right.
First year as a chorus, we combined two other choruses, so it was our first year competing together. Yeah. So that was fun.
Good.
And, yeah, so it was a good day, good weekend.
Awesome. Mighty excellent. So unless there's other news to share, I wanted to quick share with you a book I'm reading. I've been trying to plug this one for a while now. It's called, I'll hold it up on the webcam so you can see, it's called Vocal Technique, a Guide for Conductors, Teachers, and Singers. And it's by Julia Davids and Stephen LaTour. I'll hold it up for you there, and I'll put a link to it on the YouTube link later. But it's a cool resource. Lots of books like this that I've gone through have been really too technical on the vocal technique side. You gotta lift your uvula and tie it around your larynx, and it gets really, really technical. This is not as technical as those. In layman's terms, lots of good vocal tips for conductors and teachers, and great ideas for warm-ups if you're looking for things for production or anything. There's lots of breathing and anything that you might need. Lots of good little quick ideas that I've already stolen many of and used on my guys. So I recommend that highly. A good little book to pick up. Again, Vocal Technique by Julia Davids and Stephen LaTour. Enjoy. Someone else is joining us. Great. So, there we go. Terry is from the Sound of Illinois. Used to be from the Quincy, Illinois chapter, right?
Correct.
Back in the day. And that's where you got started, right, Terry? Tell us a little bit about your barbershop background, your musical background, and let's get going.
Well, we'll make this brief. How's that? I studied music at Quincy University. I was a voice major there with a trombone minor. Started directing I joined the Quincy, Illinois chapter in 1987 and became their Frontline Director in 1989 and have been directing ever since. Mm-hmm. In 2002, I took over the Sound of Illinois chorus and moved towards the Bloomington, Illinois area. And I'm also a 2011 Illinois District Quartet champ. That's me in a nutshell.
All right. Now, the Quincy chapter, how big a chapter was it when you were there?
The Quincy chapter was approximately 25 guys. Yep. We were basically dead last in the district when I took over. Mm-hmm. And when I left the final contest, I directed Quincy to a 5th place finish in Illinois.
Nice. That's awesome. And then moving to Bloomington, they're a little bit bigger than 25 guys, right?
Just a couple. We will take. I think we're taking 75 to Pittsburgh this year.
Terrific. And you've been going to internationals pretty consistently ever since, right?
This will be our 8th consecutive year at international, so we're pretty proud of that accomplishment.
That's awesome. And tell me about the ladies chorus you also direct.
Yeah, actually, I just took over a chorus called the Sound Celebration Chorus in Springfield, Illinois. It's about 26 or 27 girls, and we just currently qualified for the Small Chorus International Contest in Las Vegas for 2016.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty excited about that one. The whole Sweet Adult Lions thing is new to me. So.
Whoever is joining.
What?
See if I can use whoever that is. Let's.
Somebody's having a party.
I can't go. There we go. That's better. Okay. So how long have you been directing the ladies' chorus, Terry? Just a little while, right?
About 6 months.
Yeah.
That's a new venture.
Yeah. Well, good on you. Congratulations.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome. So you and I are I think, cut from a little of the same cloth in our philosophy. So I wanted to have you come and talk to us about that and how that's affected you and your directorship over the years. You gave me the quote of what price do we pay for quality? I'll set it up with that and let you start us off.
Cool. Well, I guess my first thing is, first of all, I will say this. You're going to have to excuse the voice a little bit tonight. I have 2 issues going on. I went to a golf outing this weekend and talked a lot, so it's a little scratchy. And for those of you who do not know, I also have a condition called spasmodic dysphonia, and it is starting to kick in pretty good. And I have treatments for that next week, so I will give you the best I have with the voice tonight. If you can't hear something or you don't understand something, please don't hesitate to chime in.
Okay.
I'll give it the best I got.
Okay.
So the first thing, if we could, I would just like to take just a second to kind of poll the audience. All the chorus directors out there, how many of you guys and ladies have a audition process in your chorus?
Speak up.
Yeah, this is not Terry talk for an hour and a half. This is interactive.
Anybody out there audition?
The only audition we have, we don't really have an audition. We make sure that somebody can, sing comfortably, and
Sure.
It's more of a voice placement rather than an audition.
Okay.
We don't turn anybody aside.
Cool.
Not yet, anyway.
Anybody else?
We just do a voice placement in Concord, New Hampshire. No audition.
Okay.
So no other auditions out there?
For us in Plattsburgh, we don't do a formal audition, but if they can sing pretty much, stay in tune, we take them.
Cool.
All right.
Anyone else out there?
There's more people on that list than that.
Yeah, come on. You got this. If I can talk, you can talk.
Well, maybe they don't audition.
Yeah, and so sure. Can you hear me?
We can now.
Hey, you can hear me?
Yep.
I don't know. I can't tell if anything's working here. Yeah, no, we do voice placement, and we also do a little bit of harmony stuff once in a while, just to see if they can sing a harmony part if they can't sing the leads.
Cool. So this sounds pretty uniform across the board. So second question is, how many of you guys have an attendance policy?
Not me.
Not me.
I don't either.
We don't either.
Bravo! Those are great answers. I will tell you this: the Sound of Illinois, currently, my audition process is to check to see if you have a pulse. That was funny. You can laugh. It's okay.
I laughed.
And secondly, we have zero.
I laughed, but I was muted.
Nice. We have 0 attendance policies, and we do exactly 0 extra rehearsals during the course of the year. We are a lot different chorus than most choruses that go to international. My philosophy has been and always will be that barbershop should be a hobby of inclusion as opposed to a hobby of exclusion. As a director, I really firmly believe that the most valuable thing that anybody can give you is their time. And if they're willing to give you their time, who are we as directors to turn them away? Why would we do that? I think all of us have had, over the course of years, wonderful experiences with people in this hobby that if they weren't in this hobby, you wouldn't have had that opportunity to have those experiences. You know, that's kind of circular thinking, but I can't in good conscience turn somebody away from this hobby who may get something out of it as much as it has given me over the course of a number of years. Does that all make sense to you guys?
Absolutely.
I guess the biggest thing I want to just kind of open up a discussion tonight is I want you to know that it is possible to have these philosophies and have quality in your chorus, but it all starts with you as a director. You have to get yourself as good as possible to teach these people how to sing. And if it's not you as the director, then you need to have somebody on your team that's a good vocal technician. I personally am a terrible vocal technician because I can't model anything anymore. My singing career is done. But I have good people who can do that. So my hope is that all of the chapters have somebody in their ranks that have some vocal teaching ability. Is that the case? Oh, the party's back.
I'll chime in first. My chapter is pretty unique. We're pretty blessed to have myself and our assistant director, who also has a music degree. So we both have that skill set to bring to the chorus. But I do know that not every chorus has that.
Cool. So as a district board or as a course director development person, Eric, how can we find help for those chapters that maybe need somebody on a, let's say, quarterly basis that might be able to come in and help with some vocal technique issues?
That's a great concept to bring up there. I've been trying to put together a list of what was I calling it? Really director coaches who can come and visit and help the director specifically, rather than come and coach the chorus per se, but come and coach the director, and that certainly falls under that, helping with the vocal technique side of things, because not everybody has those skills.
Correct. What about, do you guys have an association of champions in your district?
We do.
How about start with them?
Great place to start, indeed. Get those guys involved.
I know that in Illinois, our Quartet Champions Association, if we go out to coach somebody as a quartet champ, we don't charge anything except expenses.
Yeah.
Is that the same in your district?
There is no policy for such.
Okay, I would suggest as a quartet champion, Eric, that you may want to run that up the flagpole.
Yeah.
You didn't know I was going to pick on you tonight.
All right. And that's all the time we have.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it. Glad I could be in the Northeastern District. Hey. Look forward to my return.
I'd like to chime in if I can.
Please do,
Sure.
Larry.
I think it's a very interesting concept about getting the NED champs on board and having them do this kind of stuff gratis. And we had a similar program earlier in the NED called Singing A's, where again we got a bunch of the notable names on board and created a hierarchy structure, which we're still using today basically for coaching as a way to form baselines and do this kind of work. But one of the things that we found really interesting, and maybe this is an NED thing, is that a lot of people attached value to the fact that we weren't charging anything. And it seemed to be a case of, well, if it doesn't cost anything, then it can't be that good.
Yeah.
And I volunteered my services for close to 5 years as a coach, and never got asked once to do it until I began to charge for my coaching, and then suddenly it became very popular.
Come in the hall page.
You know, I'm not sure, you know, how that launders. I really don't think that we have a lot of chapters in the NED who are not getting back on because they can't afford it, and certainly we would make accommodations for chapters who said, you know, we really want to get somebody in, but we're having trouble figuring out our expenses. But in general, we've found that people place value on what they pay for, and if they take some out of pocket, then they tend to listen to it more earnestly and apply it more earnestly. So that's my take on that part.
That's interesting, and I would have a tendency to agree with that. But I mean, there's got to be a way to attach value to time, not just monetarily, but actually somebody physically giving up their time to come work with you. I know personally, when I coach, I don't charge to coach. I charge mileage, whatever it might be, and I travel a lot. I travel all over the Midwest to coach, but I never charge. And my schedule is as busy as I want to be honest with you. Matter of fact, I think I'm working with Concord at some point, Eric.
Yes,
Is that what I heard?
we've penciled you in.
for the right week, right?
Yes.
Cool. So I guess the point of this whole thing, this whole diatribe is that it's our job to take what we have and make the best out of it. And I think to do that, part of it is motivation. A wise person, a friend of mine once said, "You can't push rope," and it is exactly true. If your guys aren't ready to take the instruction, then you're not going to do anything. It's gonna stay right there. They have to be motivated to do that.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is this to all you guys. I mean, it sounds like you all have great philosophy. It sounds like you're doing everything wonderfully well. But why isn't your chapter growing musically? Why isn't it growing membership-wise? What are the boundaries, or what are the issues that you're coming up against?
Well, we had a great session with Sean Milligan and Terry Reynolds.
Yes.
With our group, with CDWI. We have our frontline director, I'm the assistant director, and we have 2 associate directors, 2 young guys coming up that are really great musicians. And the problem with some of that is keeping it going and trying to keep the chorus as motivated as they were the day that we had the CDWI.
Okay. So how as chorus directors, how can we do that? How can we achieve that same response on a weekly basis?
Yeah, it's difficult because we also, when we're at the CDWI, we're working on us. But then when we get into chorus rehearsal, we have to work on us and the rest of the chorus to make sure everything's working together. And sometimes we kind of get caught up on those small things.
Oh, that's a great point. We just had this exact same discussion at chorus rehearsal 2 weeks ago. So let me run a concept by you real quick. One of the things that we started talking about in chorus is a performance error versus a habitual error. And they're two completely different things. Performance errors are going to happen. There's nothing we can do to stop them. Every performance has them, unless you're the masters of harmony or the vocal majority. There's going to be performance errors. Our job as directors is not to constantly stop the chorus for performance errors. Again, they're going to happen. When we want to stop them and fix them is when they become habitual errors, and they happen consistently over time. And I think a lot of our time as directors is spent looking at performance errors as opposed to habitual errors. Would anybody agree with that statement or not?
Absolutely, yeah. I normally give if I hear an error on one take and then I hear it on the second take, I'll say, okay, maybe twice in a row, but on the third one I'm really listening and I say, okay, I've heard you do this one thing 3 times in a row now, so let's stop and address that, or let's go have a sectional on that 5 minutes and come back or something like that.
Yeah, but how many times as a director will we actually stop the chorus on the first time and try to correct it right then?
Yeah.
Because we got to correct that error before it happens again. Well, we might be spinning our wheels a little bit.
Yep.
Because it might never happen again.
Right. I've been actually saying much the same thing. There's a difference between making a mistake and not knowing your part.
Correct.
If you don't know your part, we need to fix that. If you made a mistake, okay, you made a mistake. Let's keep going. So, like Eric just said, if I hear something, I mean, obviously, if it's a train wreck, you stop it and you fix it. But if you hear something weird, you just say, let's just do that part again, and then it's gone. So, okay, never mind. Someone just goofed. Don't worry about it.
But
there's a lot of quiet people out there, Eric. Is this normally the case in Northeastern District?
We're a quiet bunch in New England.
I was gonna say, do you need my crickets?
We're not all in New England.
Nice.
I don't know. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yep.
I'm a little bit north of New England.
I'm north and east, but that's okay.
I find it interesting that I tend to keep going on when you talk about the performance errors. We sing through a song.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes the ladies are the ones that are like, oh, that was flat. Oh, did you hear that? Oh, and at some point, when you were talking to them about performance errors versus habitual errors, and I find myself saying to them, I can hear differently out front than what you can hear up on the risers. So we sometimes will have that discussion, that you might only be able to hear 2 or 3 people versus the whole chorus, which sounds fine, and have that type of discussion with my ladies.
That's actually a great point. We call that macro versus micro.
Mm.
Right.
My job is the micro or the macro. I'm hearing everything that comes out of the chorus. Unfortunately, like you said, the people on the risers are hearing the micro. It's amazing that you can have a lot of crap going on around you, but what comes out front is actually not bad. I will tell you that out of 75 guys in my chorus, if I got rid of 25 of them, I would automatically be in contention for a medal. I have guys that couldn't sing their way out of a paper bag. And that's putting it gently. But they have learned they've learned how to contribute to the chorus, whether it's vocally or visually or facially or any of those options. They don't take offense when you say, okay, Harry, you need to sing a little softer here. They're okay with that.
Yeah.
They trust me with the big picture. I hope you have that same relationship with your choruses. I think sometimes as directors we don't want to hurt people's feelings, and we have a tendency not to say the stuff that needs to be said.
Yep.
Yeah, I had another thought that just went right up my head. Isn't that terrible?
Well, Terry, let in with a question. Do those kinds of situations come up in chorus or in perhaps the board meeting or the music team where Joe Schmo doesn't sing as well as this other guy, and do we have social things like that happen?
No, not usually.
Yeah.
Because my entire
or did it in the past?
Page. No, it's really funny because when I took over Sound of Illinois, it was a culture change for them. We had to change their culture because the director before them or before me was very much about contests. He wanted to qualify that course for international. What happened was he ended up driving about half the course away just because it was so focused on the contest thing. So we had to, when I took the reins of Sound of Illinois, I said, listen, we're gonna do some things differently. You may or may not like it. I promise you it works. They bought into it, and it's worked great. At least so far. We'll see. We'll see what the next couple of years bring, I guess.
Well, that's the first thing that comes to my mind is we're going to go to internationals. We have to be good, so we got to hold everybody to the flame and make sure they know their notes, and then you get an us and them kind of situation. I think that's what other directors may be afraid of out there. But you guys tell me, you silent New Englanders out there, is that come on too?
Well, I can tell you, my chorus, Notable Blend, is not as much into contests as we are performing in the community. We've done probably 11 or 12 performances last year, and 4 of them were actually during the holiday time. And we have our annual show is actually a holiday show. It's not like a regular, performance, just because, it's nice and light. A lot of the ladies in the chorus are also a little older, and, it is a true hobby for them. So, it's funny because you hear choruses say, okay, we're going to take the next 8 weeks and we're going to do 3-hour rehearsals instead of 2. And I go, okay, well, the 3 weeks before contest, we're going to do a 2.5-hour rehearsal, so, and we're just going to go through the songs, but we're going to keep it fun. We're going to, not put so much emphasis on the contest itself and more on the emphasis of singing in public throughout the year.
I hope that you all understand that Sound of Illinois is not a one-trick pony. It's not just about contests for us. We do a lot of stuff in the community. We do a lot of performances. We actually dedicate a very small portion of our time to contests. We dedicate the majority of our time to 2 different things. First is obviously just singing great. Every time you take the risers, it's about how great can I sing tonight. It's never just running through songs. It's how great can I make these songs tonight. And that can happen at any level chorus, whether it's a C level chorus, a B level chorus, an A level chorus. That should always be the mentality. We never just run through things. Why would we do that? That's a waste of time. Because when you perform it, it sounds different. That's never happened, right? The chorus gets into a performance and it sounds different. I'm sure that's never happened to any of you out there, correct? Yeah, get the chuckle. You all know what I'm talking about. We have to instill a culture in the choruses of performance mode all the time. I'm a huge Bears fan. Sorry, that's just kind of where I live. But when they signed Brandon Marshall originally as a receiver, one of the knocks on Brandon Marshall is he would take plays off. He wouldn't try as hard, and that's kind of become our catchphrase. Don't take plays off. Don't take songs off. Constantly strive to find something to fix, find something to make better each time you sing. Which brings me to point number 2 that I kind of want to discuss tonight. Excuse me. So when we go to contests or we do a performance, how much time do you guys spend in your rehearsals discussing the technical stuff like right oots or right rhythms versus what is the message of the song? Ooh, that's a quiet crowd again.
It's
How much?
We try to do both.
Go ahead.
So
Okay.
No, we certainly talk about the message of the song, especially if it's a ballad or a song like that. I mean, if it's a rhythmic song, something like Cabaret, I mean, hey, there's not a whole lot of message in that song. Although there is some, it's about having fun, it's about enjoying life. So you talk a bit about that. But when you say technical stuff, do you mean like the mood that we try to convey in this part of the song, or do you mean, oh, well, the baritones are on to the third, so they need to be this way, or is that the sort of thing you're talking about?
Yes, the second part.
Yeah,
how much time we have? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
we don't do a lot of that unless there was a sound that that chord's not ringing. We need to fix it. But other than that, we tend to focus more on what are we trying to get across. If we're singing Hello Mary Lou, I'm saying, you know what, guys, just have fun with this. There's no message. Just enjoy it. And then they always look better when they do it too. If they're trying to think of what am I trying to convey, nothing.
But I would say that even just having fun is conveying a message.
Oh, absolutely. But what I mean is, they don't need to analyze some songs. They just need to enjoy them and sing them and look like they're having fun. And that's what I tell them. Look like you're having fun. The audience will love it. So pardon my ignorance, because I don't know a lot of the chapters out there. Could you kind of tell me how many guys you have in your chapter and what your relative scores are? 7 guys. No.
Perfect.
We just combined 2 chapters together here. We're up in Nova Scotia.
Okay.
So we're not New Englanders at all. Just
no.
putting that out there. But which doesn't make us any more or any less stoic than the quiet New Englanders are, because Maritimers can be as well. But we've got we just had 27 guys on the risers.
Okay.
At our last contest. We were going to have 29, and anyway, that's another story. We're scoring at the low B level.
Okay.
Right now, I think our average was 62 this year.
Okay.
So we're around there.
Okay. How about anybody else out there? I'd like to hear what size chapters we're talking about. Hello.
I can chime in a little bit about Portland, although I haven't been directly involved with them recently. But the Portland chapter tends to field between 40 and 50 guys a night, and they're singing high G, low A level, and they a majority of the time is really spent on the message of the song and the mood to get across, and is much less technical until they bring in coaches to work on the technical aspects.
Cool. So it sounds like you're just about where we are, give or take. We scored the usually 84, 85 range, but that's been recent. We were mostly in that 79 to 82 range for a number of years. How about anybody else out there?
I'm starting to point fingers. I'm pointing fingers and naming names now. Dan Falcone, you're up in Hanover. How many guys are in Hanover, and how are you doing these days? I see you out there. You can't run. You can't hide. Aha!
He's shy.
I've been I've been chatting. You got to read the chat box.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Eric, is it? Can you?
Yep, go ahead.
We've been typing in the chat box just because I have my girls going to sleep here. So if you could read the chat boxes.
You bet. Will do.
All right.
North Country Chord's been 27 guys, 63 score.
Cool.
And
Next.
Angie says she's from Southeastern Mass and she has 24 ladies.
Yeah, we obviously we don't sing in your your competition. We sing with Harmony Incorporated chorus, and
Cool.
we're in Area 2, which is a very competitive area. But again, I've been only directing Notable Blend for 3 years. I was never really an official director to begin with. So I've been directing these ladies for 3 years, and their 2 directors before us were not into contests, just as you said before. So I've sort of brought them back into just competing in the area level, and we're probably a high C right now. So like we just bridged the 59-60 on our scores for contests this year. And actually our music score was the highest, which was very exciting for me. So the singing score, we went up about a point or so each singing presentation, and then went up a couple of more points for music, which is kind of cool.
Cool.
And
Next.
I'd like to chime in and just say that Angie is wonderful. She has a beautiful musical experience, and her hands are catching up with her.
Nice.
Thank you, Larry. I appreciate that. Larry, I must say, it was a great experience. We had Larry and Debbie coach Notable Blend, and Debbie kind of focused a lot on the chorus. Larry did too, but I asked Larry to kind of what you were talking about earlier about the mentoring and really, giving me feedback at the end of the coaching session at a rehearsal, and it was really nice to have that feedback. Have someone actually work on myself as well as having someone on the chorus.
That's actually a really great point. One of the things that we do during coaching sessions, and we've done this a couple times a year actually, is I will bring in 2 coaches. I'll have a coach for chorus. I'll have a coach for myself. And I'll actually put my coach right in the center of the chorus. His job is to make sure that what I'm doing with my hands is conveying what I want to come across. And he actually coaches me during that coaching session. I think it helps a lot because my guys can see, hey, he's ready to be coached. If he can be coached, so can I.
That's a great idea.
Cool. Any other choruses out there?
Say it again, Terry.
I said, anybody else out there?
Yeah, South Saints are doing quite well lately. We're going to be putting 21 or 22 on stage for district contests.
Cool.
Last fall we scored, I think, 63 something.
Cool. So we're talking about B range choruses, which is great. That's a great place to start. So let me ask you this: do you know what the difference between a B chorus and an A chorus is?
20 points.
Thanks, Mr. Technical. This is kind of an open-ended question, but I'm interested to hear some answers.
Dan in the chat window says musicality, question mark?
Actually, my answer would be 1 point.
What was that?
One more time, Larry.
I said my answer would be 1 point, and it's probably the biggest point you'll ever get.
Yeah, that is true.
It is that difference between bridging technique and artistry, and it is so easy to talk about, and it's so easy when you see it, and it's so hard to do.
Ding, ding, ding! Give that man a cigar. That is exactly correct. The way it was explained to me that made the most sense was in the B level. It's kind of like acting. In the A level, it's about being. It's about being in the song. It's about telling the message of the song just from the soul. And I think sometimes guys are so unwilling to do that. They're not willing to put themselves in that position. Oh. Are you guys still there? Sorry, man. I'm walking around the house here, and I can't tell if everybody just went silent or if I lost you.
No, we're still here.
Totally agree with you.
Writing down the words of wisdom.
You what?
Writing down the words of wisdom.
Yeah, whatever. I only steal from the best, man. I'm not gonna beat you guys up on this tonight. I just want you guys. I want guys and gals. Sorry. I want you guys and gals to start thinking out how can we get our choruses to move towards artistry as opposed to just the technical stuff. And again, like you said, it's not easy to do. If it were easy, everybody would do it, right? Indeed.
If I kind of like talk a little bit about Portland, Maine's journey about 10, 15 years ago.
Sure.
Which directly relates to this, where we found that we had a chorus of two cultures, and one culture was really focused on producing a high-level product and really working to make that happen. And the other culture was about, showing up and have coffee and donuts and singing tags and palling around. And that got to a point where it began to become abrasive, and we were approaching crisis for the group, as so many groups do. Mm-hmm. And what Portland decided to do was we decided to create a chorus within a chorus. And it was not an audition procedure. It was simply a matter of we had regular chorus rehearsal, fun, sing through songs, tag team quartetting, and so on and so forth, from 7 to 9. And then at 9 o'clock we sang "Keep the Whole World Singing," and said good night. And then anybody who wanted to stay from 9 to 10 would work on 2 competition songs. Okay. And we had about 18 of the, at that time, about 36 or so. We had about 50% of the chorus who stayed that extra hour. And they were really focused on digging deeper, on producing a better musical product, on trying to figure out how we relate to this music and how we're going to deliver it to the audience. And what we found happening was, over the course of 2 years, as we did this, more and more of the other guys were sitting in the chairs and listening. They weren't going home. They were sitting and watching the 18 of us work. And we practiced just as the 18 of us, and we made internationals for the very first time in Portland, Maine's history with the 18 of us. And more and more guys sat and watched us do it, and then more and more guys said, I can do this too. It's simply a matter of the fact that they had never been exposed to it before. They had never gone that deep before, and they needed to see it happen. And when they saw it happen, and they began to see really in reality how simple it was to simply let go and give in and make it happen. Over the course of about 5 years, the 2 choruses reemerged as one chorus, and going to internationals again this year, but without the focus being on competition, with the focus on being on the overall musical product. And so it was about a 15-year journey where we spent 5 years in flux, and we spent 5 years rebuilding ourselves, and then we spent 5 years reintegrating, and that's where Portland, Maine is now.
That sounds like a wonderful, wonderful way to handle things. That is very much within my philosophy. That's awesome. I'm going to write that down, actually. I learned something tonight.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Hey, see, we're all teachable, right? I don't have all the answers. I've just been fortunate enough to be around this hobby for a long time that I have some of them.
Excellent.
Cool. There was one other thing I was going to tell you guys, and my mind is just not with me tonight. I don't know why. Okay, talk amongst yourself for a second. Rhode Island is a road or an island.
Right. Hey, Larry, I saw your, I think it was the most recent Outstanding in Front video that was released on was it the Harmony University YouTube channel? I believe it was.
Yes, sir.
There he is. Say it again.
I said, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. If you guys haven't, the rest of you haven't checked that out on the Harmony University YouTube channel, I can send a link to you if I'm allowed. Those are published, right? We're allowed to send those out, Larry? Good. So
I really don't know. I really don't know if the final edits have been made on a couple of them that had a couple of quality issues.
Okay.
But I'm sure you'll tell me if you see something that just looks wrong.
Why is Larry upside down in this one? But they're
wow.
a marvelous series of videos called the Outstanding in Front program, where Larry takes you through the basics of being a director all the way up on through. So I hope you share those around and we use those. It's a great tool. Tara, have you found your marbles? Are you all set?
I'm still here, but no. I know we covered quite a bit of stuff, and it's a little disjointed, but it actually all works together. In my mind, I think it's important to be open to anybody. I think it's important that we, as directors, are teachers and mentors. And lastly, I think it's incredibly important as directors that we give our singers the tools to be great musicians. Because ultimately, once we step on that stage, once we get up on stage, whether it's contest or performance or whatever, we have no control anymore.
Yeah.
What happens. This is their performance. We happen to have the best seat in the house. So that, if I can leave you with anything, that's the important highlight points.
Awesome.
I want our society, our barbershop society. I like the competition thing. I'm as competitive as anybody, but I think we're missing the boat when it comes to membership because we're so focused on getting the best singers. And I think sometimes there are guys out there who may not be the best singers, but they're definitely the best people. And I think that's just as important.
True. Terry, what tools or what methods do you use to help the guys that need the help? Let's just say in the Bloomington chapter, what do you do to help Bob, who can't sing his way out of a paper bag? What do you do as a director? What does your chapter do? And
Sure.
What does that look like for you?
Well, we have a couple things. First of all, we do sectionals every night. Every Tuesday night, we have some type of sectional. Whether it's for 15 minutes or half an hour, whatever it might be, we have sectionals so we can break things down to individual voices. Second thing, we are so fortunate. You guys may know Ben Harding, who is the former lead of After Hours. Mm-hmm. Ben teaches voice lessons for us before rehearsal, which obviously we're blessed to have that. Not every chapter has a Ben Harding, who, in my opinion, is probably one of the top 2 or 3 leads in the society. Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate that he left After Hours, but it is what it is. We're fortunate to have him. And to be honest with you, that's really it, Eric. We don't do any taping policies. We don't have guys audition for competition chorus. We don't do any of that. We're there. If they want help, we're there. We make ourselves available, but we don't push it on anybody.
So as much individual attention as you can.
Yeah, just as much individual attention as possible, but not. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that we require it, because we don't. I know this sounds really strange for a singing organization not to require those things, but we don't. Never have. It works for us. That's all I can say.
Right. So it sounds like it's driven by the member.
It's absolutely driven by the member.
I want to say that out loud so everyone really understands. Bob needs to come to you for help. If sectionals and Ben Harding aren't enough, then Bob comes to you.
Correct. And that does happen occasionally. We have guys that say, I'm struggling with this part of the music, and we'll get together with them at 6:30 on a Tuesday night and help them out. As a former first lady once said, it takes a village. Not that I'm not a big fan, but sorry. But that was kind of apropos.
Yes. It does.
You got to remember, I live right in the middle of conservative Illinois.
So let's open the floor to questions for Terry. I don't want to hog the floor. We have Terry at our disposal, so ask away. I'll check the chat window if you want to type them in.
So do I hear you saying that Ben Harding is looking for a new quartet?
Ben is not looking for a new quartet right now, unfortunately. He had to step back from After Hours because of some family commitments, and he just didn't have time to commit to it. They found a pretty good substitute though. Drew Ochoa is singing lead with them, and they sound fantastic. I coached them about 3 weeks ago.
Nice.
I could name drop that one, can I?
Yes, we'll let you.
Terry, how do you structure your rehearsals? How long are they?
Our rehearsals are 2.5 hours. We go from 7 to 9:30. About the first half hour, 20 minutes to half hour is all warm up, and then we'll do some repertoire stuff throughout the night, just kind of keep some stuff fresh. Obviously, right now we're kind of contest hard just because the international's coming up, but we're always in the process. I'm a firm believer that we should always be learning some kind of new music. So we're always constantly learning something new. We try to touch as many songs as we can in a night. I'm sure my rehearsals are no different than what you guys do.
How many songs do you guys learn a year?
Well, for our show, we'll probably do, I think we're doing 10 songs for our spring show, 10 new songs.
Wow.
Usually most of those songs are custom arrangements, and Tim Beidel, Tim is the tenor of After Hours, does all of our learning tracks. He's spectacular, so if you're looking for learning tracks, contact Tim Beidel.
He does do it.
I will make sure that I get paid for that plug.
We'll put a link to his website on the
There you go. Tell him I sent you. He'll probably charge you double.
10% off. Hey, Terry, so for those of us chapters who may not have a Ben Harding at our disposal to do voice lessons before, what other, or maybe just for the group to brainstorm, what other things can we do to provide good vocal, I'll say lessons, but you all know what I mean.
Sure.
To our members.
So, two things that I think are really important for smaller chapters. First of all, my belief is that smaller chapters, or chapters that are singing in let's say the high C's and low B's, have a tendency to pick music that's too difficult.
Yep.
I think that's Let's remember that there are no style points in contest. You don't get extra points because the arrangement's difficult. Second thing is unison singing. We spend, if our warm-up is 20 minutes, probably 10 to 12 minutes of that is nothing but unison singing. It's all about how does my voice affect the voice next to it? How can we get this chorus to sound like one voice? Those are the two big things that I think if every chapter would spend more time looking at the suitability of the music and just unison singing. I know it's boring as all get out. It's no fun for anybody unless they're doing it really well.
Yeah.
That makes sense to anybody else besides me, or am I off the deep end here?
I love it. I have a question from Dan Falcone from Hanover. Can you say more about the things you do with unison singing?
Sure. I am a firm believer that everything starts through the ooh vowel sound. Every vowel sound can be shaped with that same feeling. I can explain this more in person at Harmony College Northeast because it's kind of a hard concept to talk about over the phone. But our warm-ups usually start on ooh. We'll sing ooh on a unison note, or we'll sing scales or fifths or whatever it might be, just to try to get them tuned into the unit sound. In our course, at least, ooh is the easiest vowel sound for them to ring. We will then branch out from ooh to the next successive vowel sounds, like ooh to an E, to an A, to an ah. It's just trying to get them to keep that same consistency of sound across the spectrum. We use a lot of scales, 1 to 5 or 1 to 8 and back down. Sometimes, little silly exercises. We have a tendency to stay away from those. Usually, we like to try to work. We work really hard on intervals. That 1 to 2, that do to re interval that's always flat. We spend, we probably spend 2 or 3 minutes a week just making sure that particular interval is correct. Anything else?
Yeah, Larry here, and I would like to say, Terry, that I really admire the fact that you continue to be a teacher and be a learner and be a leader in barbershop despite your dysphonia. And we had a Portland, Maine chapter fellow singer also come down with sudden onset dysphonia. And I'm wondering if you could speak at all about your personal journey and how you've been able to handle that.
That's how much time you got? That's an interesting question. My spasmodic dysphonia came on over the course of a number of years. Matter of fact, it was misdiagnosed for about 10 years. About 5 years ago, I got to a doctor that finally knew what they were talking about and had me diagnosed in about 2 minutes. The thing for me, and this is not a pity party for Terry, but I'm going to tell you the truth here. I was a voice major in college. I actually sang in a regional opera company for about five years. And obviously those days are done. I don't sing anymore. I can't. But at the risk of sounding a little hopey here, I'm a firm believer that God does things for a reason, and God took my voice away so I could focus on my hands. My hands have gotten 50 times better since this happened. I'm able to communicate so much better with my chorus through my hands because I can't do it with my voice. So that's kind of been my journey. I'm at peace with it now. It took a while. I'll be honest with you. I was a bitter person about it for a while, but I think it's working out the way it's supposed to.
Good for you, buddy.
Well, that made him quiet, didn't it?
Still here, just basking in.
What was that?
I said, still here, just listening and basking in the glow, because it's obvious that you still have great joy in this hobby, and that's so wonderful.
Yeah, tremendous.
Yeah, that is the truth. This hobby has given me so much that I can't think about giving it up. I love it too much. I enjoy my guys. I enjoy my girls. I enjoy that time. It's great. Obviously, I love my family, but you know, second place is barbershop for me. That's my extended family. I love these people. You guys got me all emotional now.
Awesome stuff. You started talking about your warm-ups and the vowels you choose, and I just read something like that in the book I plugged earlier today, the Vocal Technique book by Davids and LaTour. I'll put a link to it for you guys. Pick it up. It's a great little resource if you don't know what the neighboring vowel sound of oo is. There's a little chart in there. You can work on that. So great little resource. Sorry to be plugging that. I'm not getting a check for that.
That's definitely something we can discuss at Harmony College Northeast. We can spend some time talking about that.
All right, we'll let you.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. What was the date of that again?
Yeah, I'll text you that, I guess.
Thanks. For those of you who don't know, there was a little faux pas on my end. I actually booked the wrong weekend, and Eric so gently reminded me that it was the weekend after that.
So we got it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, no. I'd be okay with it, but I think my wife might have a problem with it.
Well, Terry, we are very much looking forward to seeing you this summer. And you folks out there, make sure you get registered for Directors or Harmony College Northeast online at anydistrict.org/HCNE and fill out your forms and get registered, because it's going to be a blast with my good friend Terry here. I just saw a thank you come in. Thanks from Angie out on the web. Thank you, Angie, for being
nice. Hey, Eric, if you would, post my email, and if these guys have any questions or any topics they want to discuss at Harmony College Northeast, have them send them to me.
Can do. It's right here on the screen right now. If you guys can still see that, I would also, I sent it out with the link, but I'll send it out again for sure. Thank you, Terry.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Very much awesome.
Hope I didn't suck too bad.
Not at all. We'll let you come back. Great discussion. Next month, we're having Deborah Lynn, who's a vocal teacher down in the southern part of our district, come and talk about specifically concepts and things we can do to help the aging singer. I know it doesn't apply to all of you out there. You don't have 20-something guys who are in their 20s in your chapter, but we have one or two aging guys perhaps that we can help along with some specific techniques, and Deborah Lynn's going to come and talk to us and help us with that. So I think that's going to be a very informative discussion. I'm looking forward to that greatly. That's June 28th. Mark your calendars. I will send out a link the week before. And again, we welcome your feedback and hope that this webinar is helping you guys as much as I hope it has so far. So thank you, Terry, and it's been a wonderful night.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Terry and Eric.
You bet.
As always.
You bet. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.
And good night.
And good night.
Yeah, thanks, guys.